Hey Jenna, thanks for meeting with me at this time. I do want to use this time to check in with you to see how things are going. Yeah, I want to hear a little bit about your time thus far.
It's going pretty good. I'm still getting used to, everything and all my clients. But yeah, I think we're getting to know each other. Yeah.
Okay. Um, and I know that you're, fairly new to your role, and working with, the SPMI population and everything. So I wanted to see how you're kind of feeling around that and how uh, yeah, how things are going with
Yeah, so it's been interesting because I definitely can draw from my previous experience
it.
as kind of like doing social work, but when it comes to yeah, when it comes to like SPMI population, this is my first time, so I'm still getting used to, kind of how to work with this population and
Mhm.
um, what all the mental illnesses are and how it kind of obviously I'm learning that it looks kind of different for each person, so um, yeah, I feel like there's still a lot to learn. So um, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess kind of based off of that. I want to be able to provide support to you in this area. So are there any areas where you're feeling where where you feel that you could use more support, or any kind of challenges that are maybe arising or anything like that, just so I can provide you with whatever support
Hmm.
you need
Yeah,
while going through this.
definitely. I can definitely use some support with this one client. And so I been enjoying getting to know him, but then actually her. But I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of like identity difference coming in. Well, there is definitely, and so first of all, like she's African American, and she has schizophrenia, and she the other day we were coming back from our appointment, and she told me that she was hearing voices. She was hearing voices that telling her like don't don't trust Asian people, and obviously I'm Asian, so
Yeah.
she was saying, yeah, she told me that she has yeah, it seems like she's kind of struggling because like her voices are kind of threatening her and warning her, threatening her um
Yeah.
about trusting me. So I basically, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. How did when she mentioned you know experiencing this and
Mhm.
disclosing to you
Right.
her inability, or feeling like or being told that she's not able to trust you, due to your a part of your identity. What sort of thoughts or feelings were you kind of experiencing, or and also like kind of what kind of happened after that, like as responses, or how did that kind of uh, unfold, I guess.
Yeah, I was just kind of caught off guard, So, I mean, I definitely knew like we came from different backgrounds, and we have definitely different cultural backgrounds. But
Mhm.
I guess I never like I had that kind of happen to me. Like somebody say "Oh, I can't trust you because you're Asian."
Right.
I mean, her voice saying that, I was caught off guard and didn't know what to say, but I also kind of felt like uh I felt very uncomfortable. I felt because I even though like people never like told me that overtly, like I've I've experienced that before, so kind of it brought me feelings and um I don't know, I just kind of felt like I was put in this box. And yeah, I was kind of trying to focus on like her care and like her as a person, but um I think yeah, I wish I knew how to respond to that kind of stuff better. I don't know if you have any thoughts about your experience with this kind of
Yeah. Well,
thing.
first I want to say I really appreciate you, sharing your thoughts and feelings surrounding that. Because I can only imagine how hard that, must be for you to hear that from a client who, you want to help, but then to hear that, in regards to your own identity and your race.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to acknowledge that and you being able to share that with me. I think it's important to acknowledge those feelings and to be able to talk about those and work through some of those feelings. And I also want to support you through that and kind of where to go after that. Um, so I'm I guess, based on, some of your feelings, surrounding that, I'm wondering, so I'm wondering about the individual themselves and, you know, because I'm sure they have a close, and this is me assuming, I don't know, this individual, but if they have someone that they're working closely with, like
Mm-hmm.
like whether it's a case manager or
Mm-hmm.
a clinician, um,
Mm-hmm.
some other individual on on their team. Um,
Mm-hmm.
if there is, I'm wondering if there is an
Mm-hmm.
ROI placed, or an individual that we can talk to who is the referral source. For you working with this individual to see if you can connect with them, to be able to talk to them about some of this, because I'm also wondering you know, if this individual is feeling this way, maybe next time seeing if they wouldn't mind, having kind of you know, kind of like a 2-on-1 kind of group session, so that they can
Mm-hmm.
be with someone who they currently trust and they are currently
Mm-hmm.
working with, but then also
Mm-hmm.
having you there so that you have their support and, vice versa. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm just kind of wondering about that. And then,
Mm-hmm.
what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think that would be helpful. I think there is a counselor whom she trusts a lot. And I've definitely met her before, and she told me that if we can collaborate if there was a need, so I might reach out to her. And um yeah, just I guess I'm not sure like how to bring that up. I'm not sure like are you saying we should talk about that comment that she made, or just have like more three-way meetings?
No, I think, not necessarily talk about that comment, but, maybe
Mhm.
talk to that, talk to their other caseworker or their clinician, to see if you could meet with them, like maybe,
Mhm.
at a next appointment or something, or, talk to that individual and say, hey,
Mhm.
would you mind if, I went with you to this next appointment, so that
Mhm.
it can provide a little bit more of a warm handoff rather than focusing
Mhm.
on that comment, so that you can start
Mhm.
building that rapport with someone else that they're already familiar with. In
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think so try to build relationships in the setting environment where they feel a little more comfortable and at ease with
Right.
another person they trust.
Right. Just to kind of facilitate that relationship because then maybe, after
Mhm.
time they might be able to see
Mhm.
that, they can
Mhm.
trust you and that you are working
Mhm.
as a team and then start to, work independently. But also
Mhm.
on the flip side, I want to
Mhm.
be conscientious and aware of how you might be feeling.
Mhm.
The fact that, this
Mhm.
individual feels that they can't trust you and that you might have
Mhm.
to go about this a different way. What are your thoughts and feelings about that? Because I want to be, yeah, um, I want to be conscientious and sensitive to those feelings as well. Because I think it's a tough, um, it can be an uncomfortable, situation. So I want to be,
Mhm.
mindful about that and to be able to talk about that with you.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think um two things. I think I can't force someone to trust me. I can't speed that process up. I think it might take some time and more time because of our, because we come from different backgrounds, and I understand that. I've been, of course, like all of us, I understand, it can be sometimes hard to trust someone.
Mhm.
So I think I'm gonna try to like be okay with the fact that it might take longer, and that we may kind of go through this kind of thing in the future. But I also I don't know. I guess I'm wondering about like next time if she were to say something like this, like
Mhm.
should I respond in a different way? Part of me like wants to like respond
Yeah.
just because I don't want to like condone her thought. I don't know how my if I don't respond, how my silence will get um come across to her. um yeah.
Yeah. I think
But
it's it's
I guess the other thing is like because like she's hearing the voice telling her, and like obviously she's not, doing great. This us, with her mental illness. So like I don't, even if I were to like try to respond and like discuss this issue, like I don't know if she would completely get it. No.
right. Well, I think so it is a sensitive issue, and
Mhm.
I mean, if you did, go down that road of, trying to talk about it more, if this individual, if she does bring it up again, you could ask, yeah, could you tell me a little bit more about that, and just kind of
Mhm.
listen to
Mhm.
her
Mhm.
about, her thoughts around
Mhm.
and just kind of talk her through
Mhm.
that,
Mhm. Mhm.
being open to all of that.
Mhm.
But again, I also don't want, I wouldn't, I would,
Mhm.
I wouldn't want it to go down a path where you would feel super uncomfortable and then where it could
Mhm.
potentially damage that relationship either.
Mhm.
Um,
Right, right, right.
so in that sense, I would almost, use your best judgment with that. If
Mhm.
you,
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
that is something that you could, hey, could, could you expand on that a little? Or,
Mhm.
is this something that, you wouldn't mind sharing a little bit more about,
Mhm.
about these thoughts? Um, also,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, Also, I think it would be helpful, if, to see if we can find some courses or training, so that we can gain more information on schizophrenia and just kind of working
Mhm.
with individuals who are diagnosed with schizophrenia. Um,
Mhm.
I think that would be helpful as well. Of course, it
Mhm.
depends on when your next meeting is with her. I mean, if you can, maybe we can find something beforehand. so that we can kind of support you through that. Um, yeah, what are your thoughts on some of those aspects so far?
Yeah, I would appreciate that. Yeah, I think that would be really helpful because yeah, I think there's that like identity piece, but then there's that whole like, SPMI
Right.
aspect of it. So I think yeah, it would definitely be helpful to try to learn more about her mental illness. I think the other thing I wonder I think could be helpful for me is I don't know, just you know, it it it's definitely at least a little bit like uncomfortable, and catches me a little bit off the guard and kind of brings up feelings from previous experiences like this.
Yeah.
Um, it might be a little bit helpful to just have a little bit of downtime just to process, and it might be helpful to maybe like I want have be able to kind of um, confide these things and kind of share these kinds of experiences and support one another,
Hmm.
with another clinician of color,
Hmm.
or in general clinicians, because we always kind of work with people from different backgrounds. So yeah, I don't know if yeah but yeah, those are some things that come to my mind as well.
Yeah, I would
Mhm.
I would absolutely encourage some of those discussions of, you know, um, surrounding these challenges with other, clinicians who maybe or may have experienced this,
Mhm.
um, or a similar situation in the past.
Mhm.
I would absolutely encourage that. And then I would also
Mhm.
suggest, even you know,
Mhm.
after your next scheduled appointment, to make sure
Mhm.
that you don't schedule
Mhm.
anything right after that so that you do have time
Mhm.
to kind of process and debrief.
Mhm.
And we could even schedule
That's a good
something
idea.
after that too, to
Mhm.
just kind of, check in about, how that went.
Mhm.
So I think a couple things here just to kind of recap. So, you know, see if you can make contact with the referring, case manager or counselor.
Mhm.
See if you can talk with this individual, because chances are they've been working with that individual for,
Mhm.
a little while longer. So
Right.
you might be able to get more insight from them about this individual, and then maybe see, depending on your comfortability, um,
Mhm.
see if you could meet in a group setting so that it can provide almost kind of like a warm handoff, just kind of, uh,
Okay.
since that person will already have that trusting relationship with that individual, having them in the room might help. But I also don't want you to feel uncomfortable thinking like, oh, I'm
Mhm.
here because they
Mhm.
don't trust, or, this individual doesn't trust
Yeah,
you. Because
I
that could
think
feel
it'd be okay
uncomfortable too.
actually.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
want to be sensitive to all those kind of aspects. So,
Mhm.
just kind of brainstorming ways. And then, also, um, you know, looking up either, trainings or coursework, or just any information on, being able to work with individuals who have a schizophrenia diagnosis, and how
Mhm.
people work with them. And then, also, speaking with other clinicians who may have been in a similar situation as you, I think would be helpful. Did I capture all of that, or what are your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds great. I feel like I have some tools to work with.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, and then let me know if anything comes up in the meantime.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm always available. So, and I want to be as supportive as possible. Because I also, want to offer other resources of support for you. Um, you know, um, because it is a very it, it can be a very uncomfortable situation for you. So an EAP program as well, if that might be of assistance as well. But um, yeah, we can definitely work through this together and talk about some of these feelings that arise um, during your work with this individual. So
It was really helpful. Thank you.
yeah, of course, you're welcome. Okay, well, thanks again, and let me know if you need anything in the meantime. Okay,
Thanks.
thanks.